So you're thinking about divorce and trying to figure out what are the documents that you need to file. Well, there are two very basic things that you need to file when you initiate a divorce. One of them is called a summons. That's essentially summonsing your spouse to court. The other one is a complaint. That's a legal document that starts a case, that tells the court what you're seeking. In this case, a divorce. It'll probably also say things like, I'm seeking alimony, or I'm seeking property division, or if you have children, it might say, I'm seeking a parenting plan or custody. It won't say exactly what you want. All you have to know is that it's a thing that you want the court to make a decision about. At the beginning of a divorce, that's really what you need to start the ball rolling. There are also some other things we file along with a divorce. And those are things that I like to talk more specifically and intentionally with individual clients about, because whether or not we file them really depends on the individual circumstances of what's happening in your life. One of the things people wonder at the beginning of a divorce is, as a practical matter, what do you do? One of the things that you do is you decide what courthouse you're going to move forward in. Now, depending on what city and town in Connecticut you live in, you might have the option of a different courthouse. If you and your spouse live in different towns, you might have another option of what courthouse to file in. One of the things we like to do here at Freed Marcroft, because we're familiar with all of the family courthouses in the state, is really think about this, work it through, and decide what the best place we think might be for you to start your divorce. Another thing that happens at the beginning of a divorce is we have to serve the divorce complaint upon your spouse. That's something that happens in different ways. Sometimes it's a marshal who formally serves the divorce complaint. In other cases, if your spouse has an attorney and we already know who that attorney is, that attorney might accept service on your spouse's behalf, which eliminates the necessity of serving your spouse directly, because we can serve their attorney. So there are a lot of options. And again, like so many things in Connecticut divorces, what really matters the most to us is that we work through the options for you in your case and pick the best possible path forward that lines up with your goals. So how do the initial expenses that you occur in the beginning of a divorce, how do those get paid? So for example, how do you pay the marshal that serves your divorce? How do you pay the filing fee? When you work with us at Freed Marcroft, generally what happens is you provide us with a retainer, and we use those retainer funds to pay your legal invoices with us for our work on your file. And we also use those to take care of these initial expenses on your behalf, things like filing fees and marshal fees, things like that. So generally speaking, all of that would flow through our office, so you don't need to be thinking about writing separate checks. The state of Connecticut provides some blank forms that you can use to initiate a divorce on your own. There are a few things I want you to think about, though, before you go forward that way. Things that you might not consider. They fall into the category of you don't know what you don't know. One of them is you might not know how long it generally takes for a marshal to serve a divorce, so you might not know what dates to put on the divorce. We've seen a lot of people come to us after they try to start a divorce themselves, and it turns out we have to redo the whole process for them because they got one date wrong. Innocent mistake, but kind of an annoying impact where you have to redo things. So I think that one of the things you want to think about is, before you move forward and file a divorce on your own, it makes sense to consult with an attorney, find out how busy the courthouse is you're thinking of filing in, if time is of the essence to you, find out how long it generally might take a marshal to serve in your area so that you know how to set up the timeline of the beginning of your divorce. It's pretty easy to avoid basic mistakes at the beginning if you work with folks that are experienced to know what they're doing.